Hi guys, so today is winterization day. It's getting cold up here in the Great White North, and actually in Montreal. The boat just came out last Sunday, and now I want to winterize my engine. So I wanted to show you how I do mine and give you some tricks or whatever that might help you as well. So what I use when I'm ready to do my winterization of the engine, the first thing I want to think about is I want to flush the engine with fresh water because it's been in the lake all summer. So I do want to flush the engine and all that, you know, for a good 15-20 minutes with clean, fresh water. After that, I want to then run the engine and then using antifreeze. And then that way I make sure that there's no passages in the engine or the hoses or whatever, or the conduits or even the through hull that can freeze and crack and cause more problems. So what I use, I'm going to be using my shop vac. So the shop vac I'm going to use because I also want to, before I do everything, I want to clean the intake water filter. Which is a filter when the water comes in through the hull, it goes through a primary filter and into the impeller or the water pump. So I do want to get that clean. So I don't like making a mess in the boat. So I'm going to use a shop vac on the water intake outside the boat, just for a couple of seconds, because that'll suck back any water that's still left in the filter housing. So that'll make the job a little easier when I go back inside, take the filter out, clean it, and put it back in before I start the engine with fresh water. So shop vac is what you'll need. You'll need a bucket as well, because I'm going to be filling it with water at a trickle where they will match how much the engine's sucking water. So about the same amount of water is going to fill the bucket, keep the bucket nice and full. So I don't run any danger of taking out all the water and running dry, which hardly would ever happen. I also have in my case, it's a 1/2-inch transparent hose that will go inside the water intake underneath the boat. And you'll notice that at one end, I made it into a V, because that'll be the end that'll go in the bucket. That V will prevent this hose, because remember, the engine's sucking water, so it's kind of like a vacuum, if you will. So that will prevent the hose, if it was flushed like that, to get stuck on the inside of the bottom of the bucket and prevent water from being sucked in. So that's like a little preventive. I have, of course, my hose, water intake. And I have these large clothespins. If you can see, they're kind of large. That will hold everything together, the water hose and this hose, along the bucket edge. So make sure that it doesn't happen to fall out or slip out or whatever. And then you'll need, of course, your antifreeze. So, the way I'm going to do it, you'll see that, is I start by flushing water, fresh water. I run the engine for about 10-15 minutes. Once I'm ready, I just take this end of the hose, take it out of the bucket, and I'm going to be putting it into the antifreeze, and it'll start sucking the antifreeze. I like seeing transparent because I can see when, if there's air or whatever like that, but I'll see the color go from fresh water color to antifreeze, and then I keep running it till I see the pink stuff coming out of my exhaust. Then I know, okay, the antifreeze has gone through all the passages within the cooling system of the engine, and then I just shut off the engine, and that'll be that. The other thing I wanted to show you, and let me bring the video a little closer here. All right, so I just had to move all my stuff out of the way here so I can get in closer. So my intake is like most boats. It's just a simple 1/2-inch, or maybe yours is a 5/8, or depending on the size of boat that you have, of course. But I just had just a basic hole. From that hole, it sucks the water in, goes into a water filter, or an intake filter, if you will, to clean maybe debris or whatever, little branches or little leaves or whatever, garbage, to go into that filter. One year, about maybe 11 years ago, actually in the filter, I actually found this little branch, little about the size of a Crayola, if you will, that had gone through here, believe it or not. So what I did is, again, 10 years ago, in a shop called the Rigging Shop, the Rigging Shop in Toronto, Ontario, although you could probably find this elsewhere. So I found this and I thought it was great. So what that is, let me make it closer here. So you see here, I've only got the one, there you go, let me just remove this here. There you go. So I have like a pre-filter. So bigger debris can't even get through, and it's been really great because every time I've actually cleaned my filter, believe it or not, I had nothing other than just really rinsing it. So there you go. So it actually opens up. So now I have my 1/2-inch hole here. I'll be able to put my hose in there, suck up water to run the engine with fresh water, and then change the hose over to the antifreeze jug, and then start sucking antifreeze, and that's it. I'm done. if you guys get a chance to find something like this, it's just 3 screws with Sikoflex all around, of course. Although you're not looking to seal it, you just want to seal those holes where you're screwing that in. This makes it very, very workable, because some guys, you know, when they want to antifreeze their or rinse their engines, they got to go inside, bring a hose inside the boat, and you have these connections. This makes everything so simple. So at one point I had, let me show you what a lot of people do have. So a lot of people do have this type of intake. So that's not removable. You can't open it. So it's not very practical. So you got to do everything from inside the boat. So even if I had one of these, I would actually find like one I have and replace it with one of these bronze intake filters as well. So that's the number thing I would highly recommend if you guys can find it. Okay, so then you set up and start doing the winterization. All right, so now I'm just gonna, I got my shop vac right here, so I'm just gonna start it and just, not for long, right? I don't want to have suction. I just want to empty that first intake filter receptacle or jug or whatever. So I'm just gonna start my shop vac here, so I'll make a little noise. You see, it won't be very long. I don't know if you can see that. And I got water coming out. There you go. See that? So hopefully you guys can hear me. There's a crane going on in the shop vac. There you go. There you go. Okay, perfect. So that should do it. Now I'm going to go up and take the filter bowl off and clean that filter and then put it back on. All right, so I'm inside the boat now, and this is the intake. Of course, I left the valve open in order to suck. I leave it open all winter. Actually, all my through holes I actually leave open, by the way. I do play with them, make sure that they're never going to be stuck. Now my water filter, this is the original from Catalina. I actually have to loosen up the bracket right here so that I can actually lift this out. There you go. And I just have to twist this and open it like that. And if the shop vac did what I wanted it to do, the bowl should be pretty empty. And yeah, it's pretty empty. There you go. Just a little bit of water, but I'm going to use a shop vac to clean that up and put some Scott towels. Now I'm going to go clean this filter. All right, so I have my my filter here. Just going to take it out. And you know what? It's like completely clean. Little bit of dirt down there, so I'm just gonna start off my water pump here just to rinse that. There you go. So it's nice and clean. Put the filter back in, and there you go. It's nice and tight. There you go. So now I'm ready to put that back in, and then we're gonna fill the bucket with water underneath the boat. Right, there you go. Filters back in. You put the filter in the container, by the way, first, because it fits snugly at the bottom, and then you just go ahead and screw that in. There you go. Oop. Come on. Of course, it's always easier when you think about how to do it until you come to do it. There we go. There we go. Okay. So you want it snug, but remember these are all plastic components, right? So very strong plastic, by the way. But you want it just snug. There you go. In my case, I'm going to fit it back into its compartment here, or its bracket. There you go, Mr. Phillips. Go. Okay, perfect. So now I have the assurance that filter is actually clean, which means it's been doing its job, and probably that filter or that thing I showed you underneath the boat played a big part in the fact that there was almost nothing in here except a little piece of debris at the bottom of the bucket. But I also now know that there's no water in there, so I'll be sucking fresh water now in a minute, and then I'll be able to transfer that over to antifreeze, and boom, good. So let's go do that now. Yeah, before I leave this area, I just wanted to show you guys one more thing. And many of my videos, I talk about the same thing. It takes about 10 seconds, but I find it so important. And a lot of sailors or boaters don't pay attention to that. But I pay attention to the clamps I have everywhere. So first of all, they're stainless steel clamps. So if you buy cheap clamps somewhere, they're not stainless, that will rust. But I put everywhere there's water coming into your boat from anything, whether it's intake for the bathroom, for the sink, for the toilet, for the engine. You should have 2 clamps, stainless steel, and opposing, right? So one over here, one over there. So you just reverse it. So they're both equal pressure on both sides in circular motion. So really nice, even. You're not putting pressure on one thing or another. And if one should fail, you have a backup over there. So that is a standard. Actually, most insurance companies insist that any pipes with water intake or whatever have to have 2 clamps. So keep a look at your boat, and then once in a while check them, make sure everything is good. Believe me, you know, what's that, $1 or $2 clamp can easily sink your boat. So guys, guess what? Even experts make mistakes, but look at this. As I was stepping out after putting that filter back in, I found this gasket at the bottom of my sink here. This is the gasket that goes on that water pump that I just put back together. Not water pump, sorry, but the water filter I just put back together. So anyways, keep an eye on this thing. Make sure you guys don't forget to put this little sucker back in. That'll sink your boat too. So I'll just go I'm not going to film it, but I'm going to go put that back in. It goes on top of that bowl that we just cleaned out. There's a setup there with the transparent 1/2-inch hose that's going into the bucket. It's being filled as we speak, and as you can see, I use the this large clothespin to hold everything in the bucket. So now it's starting to fill out, so I'm going to be ready to go start the engine now, and I'll put the camera so you can actually see it spewing through. All right. There you go. So water going in through the bucket. The hose is keeping the water level at the same level. So the input of the water in the bucket is actually matches the output, the input through the hose. As you can see, water is flowing through. So I'm gonna let that run about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna switch the hose over to the antifreeze bucket. I'll show you that in a minute. All right guys, so now I'm ready to put this on. I'm just gonna do this. There you go. And you see how it turned pink over here? So now I'm gonna wait till it comes out pink in the back. And when that comes out pink, and you can actually smell it, then I'm gonna go shut the engine off. There you go, you see my bucket's almost empty. And it's coming out pink, so now I'm gonna go shut off the engine, and that's it. All right, so everything is shut off. So I'm going to take this off. There's still some left in the, actually I'll put that there because there's still some left in the hose. There we go, and I'll be able to use some of this inside the boat as well. So that's it guys. I hope you saw this video was easy breezy.